The ninth issue we think that's important for non-insurance lawyers to understand is criminal activities. Now, criminal lawyers do this day in and day out, but also a lot of civil litigators, they find an issue where there's some really bad stuff being alleged and the Department of Justice may get involved in a case and there's all these allegations of really bad stuff happening. Whether true or not, the allegations are out there. So we're grouping all that into criminal activities. A lawsuit may be filed, a lawsuit may not be filed, but there's bad allegations. So the first thing that we'd like non-insurance coverage lawyers to realize is that the starting point to think about is that this is covered. Now, probably a number of you back there are saying, well, you got to be crazy. What do you mean? These are criminal. Criminal stuff is really bad. You can't get insurance for that. I've been doing this for 15 years. We've never got insurance for it. And to that I'd say, respectfully, you're wrong. There is coverage for criminal activities, and you need to give notice of it, and you need to follow through with a strategy to obtain that coverage. There are issues. I mean, it's not clean cut. It's not easy. It's never easy. But there are issues that come up. One of the issues is public policy. So I think we can understand this public policy. Courts come out and say, hey, I don't see any law against saying an insurance company should cover this, but we don't think it's right. It's not right for an insurance company to cover your criminal activity. Why? Because we don't want to promote criminal activity. It's just not the right thing to do. So what you'll see is these cases out there saying insurance policies don't cover criminal activity. And I'm loosely phrasing that. But if you read those cases, you see that it's much more narrow. So if you look at those cases and you look at the insurance policies, you'll find out that there are major exceptions to that, quote, general rule it's not covered. And the major exceptions are so big that you can practically drive a truck through it. And one of those exceptions is defense costs. I mean, think about it. In the United States, you're innocent until proven guilty. Well, there's no public policy that says you don't have a right to a lawyer. In fact, the opposite's true. You have a right to defense counsel. And in the corporate context, the same is true. You have a right to defense counsel, and insurance should cover that. So that's the one issue. Once you throw public policy out and you get it straight that defense costs are covered, that's great, but the insurance company may come back with another issue. They may say it's excluded by one of these exclusions. There's a series of conduct exclusions that appear, especially in D&O insurance policies. Now see, those conduct exclusions, generally they only apply to indemnity, i.e. they don't apply to defense. And there's all kinds of ways that they address that. Some say they don't blanket, they don't apply to defense costs. If you have one of those, go forward, you're covered, great story. Other times the insurance policy will have a more limited exception to the exclusion, and they'll say, well, if you got bad conduct, you got to wait till there's a final adjudication before we, the insurance company, can take advantage of that exclusion. Well, what's a final adjudication? Well, that's the end result of the lawsuit, the criminal lawsuit. So when you're incurring these defense costs, there's not going to be a final adjudication. So what we're saying is up until the final adjudication, you have coverage. So we would like everybody to think generally, when you see a criminal matter, think coverage and think that it is coverage. Don't fall back to the age-old reaction that, oh, it's criminal, it's probably not covered, I don't have to do anything. If you have an issue, give us a call. We're happy to take a look at it.